Content warning. This video discusses domestic violence, kidnapping, and murder. Viewer discretion is advised.
Students and staff at Lincoln Middle School grieving together today after the loss of their assistant principal, Narissa Lee, as seen here in a photo on the district's website. And she was one of 3 people found dead right in front of the school Tuesday in what police are calling a domestic violence shooting. It's a tragedy that has hit close to home for many families across this district.
Tragedy struck on the south side of Chicago this week when a beloved middle school assistant principal and her mother were fatally shot just outside the school building. The incident has shaken students, staff, and the entire community. According to police reports, Narissa Lee, the assistant principal at Berwyn Middle School, was outside the school with her mother on September 18, 2025, when gunfire erupted. Both women were struck and later pronounced dead. Witnesses say the shooting happened during dismissal, when students and parents were nearby. Thankfully, no children were physically injured, but the emotional toll on students who witnessed the violence is immeasurable. Chicago Public Schools officials described Narissa as a dedicated educator who always put her students first. Neighbors remember her as a role model who gave back to the community she grew up in. A memorial has been growing outside the school where she worked. Parents, teachers, and students are leaving candles, flowers, and heartfelt messages.
Straight out of swamp where the pain don't sleep, digging through the truth where the crime runs deep. From the bottom to the top, let the facts all spray. Welcome to the grind, this crime the Eway. The streets don't lie, they scream my name.
You can imagine it's been a tough day for this community here at Lincoln Middle School. They've been gathering here outside all day long. You can see some kids there now just trying to come together and mourn the loss of the assistant principal, Narissa Lee. From what I've been told from all these students and families is Mrs. Lee was just a familiar face for these students, often welcoming them into her class and giving them the support that they needed at the time. Students and staff at Lincoln Middle School grieving together today after the loss of their assistant principal, Narissa Lee, as seen here in a photo on the district's website. And she was one of 3 people found dead right in front of the school Tuesday in what police are calling a domestic violence shooting. It's a tragedy that has hit close to home for many families across this district.
I don't want what she did here as a teacher for the students and for the staff to go unnoticed, because she truly was a very kind person.
Anna Lobis graduated from Lincoln Middle School a couple years ago and says Lee always took care of her students.
And she would give students extra food if they were still hungry, and she would keep food for students later in the day if they were hungry.
Police are continuing to investigate the shooting, which happened right outside the middle school. As officers approached the scene Tuesday evening, police say they found a man firing a rifle into another vehicle, which allegedly killed Lee and one other person who has not been identified. Police say the suspect was found dead in his own vehicle after allegedly shooting himself. The medical examiner has confirmed 54-year-old Stephen Lee also died in the incident. As neighbors tell us, that man is the assistant principal's husband, who she has been living with in Broadview for the last 5 years.
I am in complete shock. I mean, like I said, this community has always been a family-oriented community, and everyone supports each other. And this is like a big surprise as well as a loss to our entire community.
Now, we're still waiting for Berwyn police to confirm the exact narrative and possible motive as to why all of this happened. We don't know the identity of that third victim as well at this point. Berwyn Mayor released a statement earlier today calling this a senseless act of domestic violence. And he says the city is working with the district to make sure ample mental health resources are available to anyone who may need them.
Back to class at Lincoln Middle School in Berwyn after a truly terrifying crime right outside of the building. The school's assistant principal was shot and killed, one of 3 people dead in a tragedy that has shaken that school and truly the entire neighborhood. Police say it was a domestic incident. NBC5's JC Navarrete live in Berwyn tonight talking with students and with parents about the grief they're facing right now. JC?
Hey there, Stefan, and so much emotion was on full display. And today we also learn more about the crime, but the victim itself, we're learning tonight from her sibling that assistant principal was shot and killed by her own husband.
They're my family, and I mean, it's a horrible thing. I have a lot of emotions. I don't quite know what to feel.
A family ripped apart by gunfire, just feet from Lincoln Middle School in Berwyn. Among the dead, Assistant Principal Narissa Lee. Balloons, flowers, and candles now line the street as students and parents pay their respects. Lee's life cut short Tuesday afternoon, shot inside a car. Her husband, Stephen Lee, dying of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Her sister says the mother was also killed inside that vehicle.
This didn't come out of the blue. It had started ever since I want to say the tail end of June, and basically the boiling point would have been yesterday.
Wednesday, a clear picture of the violence. Nearby security video captures more than a dozen rounds fired. Police call it a domestic situation. Students now grappling with the loss. One told me she felt safe around Lee. Another, with her mother's permission, said she'll miss her laugh.
I always saw her laughing with the other people, and she would laugh so hard that I didn't understand the joke, but I would also laugh.
Her commitment to students, clear to anyone who knew her.
She was always about her work. She sounded like she did really loved her school, really loved her kids. So she was all about what she needed to do.
Again, classes do resume tomorrow right behind me here at Lincoln Middle School. And you can see how much that memorial here has grown over the past couple of hours. Police continue to investigate what may have even led up to this shooting in the first place. And we do now know that counselors will be on hand for anyone that may need them.
Tonight, a memorial is growing for the assistant principal shot and killed in Berwyn yesterday.
And the woman had just left work when police say her husband shot her. WGN's Dana Repick is joining us live with the latest from Berwyn tonight. So, Dan, how is the victim being remembered now?
Well, there have been many members of this community coming by to leave flowers in front of Lincoln Middle School. We know that school was canceled today, classes canceled for students, and grief counselors were on hand here to help students and staff process this loss.
They're my family, and I mean, it's a horrible thing. I have a lot of emotions. I don't quite know what to feel.
Shayna Everidge losing both her sister and mother in a shooting outside Lincoln Middle School in Berwyn around 4 p.m. Tuesday.
She was supposed to be picking her up, and then headed to the police station.
Everidge says her sister, 46-year-old Narissa Lee, and her husband, 54-year-old Stephen Lee, had been having domestic problems since June, with an altercation involving a weapon at their home Monday night.
Broadway police went inside the house Monday evening. They had all the lights on and things like that, but they were there around 11 o'clock at night.
The couple's next-door neighbor, who did not want to be identified, says prior to that, she hadn't noticed any issues.
Well, she was always about her work. She sounded like she did really loved her school, really loved her kids. Steve, we were always be outside working with his car, washing his car. He always be grilling finesse on certain holidays. And he would talk more with my husband and things like that. But he was always friendly. We spoke every time he seen us, so he always said hi.
Berwyn police say Stephen Lee opened fire on his wife and mother-in-law, 76-year-old Jocelyn Everidge, in their car, then fired at responding officers before turning the gun on himself. Shayna Everidge says she was supposed to go with her mother to pick her sister up from Lincoln Middle, but got a phone call from her old Sunday school teacher and decided to stay home.
We talked, and it was actually, I guess, having been on the phone with her, and I talked so much to the point where my mother was already proceeding to leave, and I was just like, nah, I ain't gonna even go. But I guess it was a good thing, because in the end, I probably would not be here.
Our hearts go out to the family, friends, and students of Narissa Lee and her mother. Their loss is a devastating reminder of the urgent need for peace and safety in our schools and communities.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Crime the Eway for more stories like these.